just, in basic terms, interpreted. So when you talk about personality branding, or branding your personality, this is where now you put in your characteristics and what you want people to perceive at the end of the day, to relate, so that in case there's a business for them and they would want to use you as maybe as an ambassador or an influencer, then people will be like, okay, we cannot work with this person because of this, or we can work with this person because of this. So in one or another, it may look like personality is just about you as an individual, but if you are, a public figure, then these two work together. You cannot say, no, it's different from love issues, where you say, no, what you see about me is not what I am. I'm different at heart. People are not interested in the heart when they want to do business with you. They are interested in looking at what you bring out as an individual. So that's why we say, when you're a public figure, it's no longer about your personal life. Whatever you do, whatever you say, has a very huge impact on what you do in society. So basically, that's how I would describe it.
And honestly, I feel you've finally set a difference, a very clear line between what a personality is and what a brand is. Because most people, I feel, to some extent, confuse the two.
Right.
They bring out their characteristics as their brand, which I feel doesn't always sell out well.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference between a personal brand and characteristics. So thank you for that simple, clear definition.
Very
I mean,
clear.
yeah.
In your perspective.
And also,
I
just
give
to
it
add
to you.
on,
Yes.
your personality is what fits into the brand. Just to
Oh, yeah.
be easy, yes, it fits into the brand, so you can't separate the two.
Nice.
Yes.
It's really.
Nice.
I've learned so much.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really starting to work on a personal brand soon after this. And
You know?
you actually, both of you just answered a question that I had before coming on set, which is, do you separate the two? Can the two be like, my personality is this and my personal brand is this? But after having this,
It is very hard. It's very hard to separate the two, because at the end of the day, especially in a situation where you are working as an image, in my case as Ken Dumbo, it is very hard to separate the two, because the moment people, I'll tell you one funny thing. At home, they no longer call me by my name.
They've given you
Even my
definition.
parents call me
Yes.
Ken Dumbo. So, it is a name that has been created but now has an impact on society. So whatever I do as Emmanuel will still be related to Ken Dumbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
and I want to find out, you've mentioned personal life and everything else. Is it that everyone must have a personal brand, or it's just only you mentioned something about a company and positions, and he's mentioned business. So do personal brands only apply to people in business, or people who are in corporate, or business people? Like, should it be for everyone or just selected people?
Okay, let me take that one. So the three types of brands: there's a corporate brand, there is also a product brand, and there's a personal brand, what we are discussing today. Then also, Timothy Morris talks about three bodies of a brand, which is the inner, which is the unseen. There's also the seen, and also the networks. So then when we talk about the unseen, this talks about your ideas, the inner side of you, brings in the characteristic as in you. Then when we talk about the seen, this is the external, what people say, your image.
Yes.
Yes. Then when we talk about the networks, we talk about the associations. So this will talk about your family, your friends, the individual you marry. They're very, very important. That's why they say, tell me 5 people in your circle and I'll tell you who you are. So who are your associations? It will speak a lot about you as a brand.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's very, who is in my circle?
It's high time we start checking, and noting how people are supposed to actually just let go of, honestly.
And look at them. Okay, so it's
So going back to your question, you
Yes.
said, should everyone have a brand? Whether you like it or not, you have a brand. If you do not define your brand, someone else will define your brand, and you don't want anyone to define your brand.
definitely.
And just to add on, I think most people will relate the brand name to probably public figures, but for people that are not in the public, there's what we call reputation. I think it's almost one and the same thing, because your reputation will tell people more about you. That's why some people, when you tell them Kawalala, they'll be like, Ine, Kawalala, nakubelapo chan, that kind of thing. So your reputation in society is your brand. So you may not really be a public figure like Ken Dumbo is, but what you do what you say, how you dress will tell people about who you really are.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yes, and just to add on, like on the external part, also talks about your mannerism and your etiquette. So that's why companies these days are very big. When employing someone, they'll check your social media handles to see. You can have the good grades, you can have the papers, but they've diverted from that. They also want to know who they were bringing to the company, so that you not compromise with their values. So that's why it's very, very important how you sell yourself, what you post. Because people think, oh, it's my page, I can actually do whatever I want. So you are compromising yourself. One day you need a job, and you find with these days, Facebook brings those memories. The day that you need to be going for an interview, that memory cabuera, so that compromises automatically. Then you lose your opportunity to get that big job you've waited for.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
And that just brings me to this question. It keeps on popping up in my head. You know, we're living in a time where I feel social media at this particular point in time, it has got the biggest impact, literally on everybody. People are trying to be known. People are trying to create big names for themselves. But do you think in trying to create, you know, a brand which is very proactive in a positive way, they're going too far, or maybe to a very huge extreme, to a point whereby it might not actually work for them, but work against them? So should there be, like, you know, a certain point or stage to where somebody should actually reach and say, enough, if it's really not working, let me just step out of it? Or maybe somebody should just keep on trying and try until they get that name for themselves. Because I feel there must be a downfall to this personal brand trying to be known for something, you know, service or product.
Would you want me to take that on?
Please.
Thank you so much. So it's very, very important when you go to social media. What is the motive behind whatever you're doing? It's very, very, I'm big on that, the intention of going there. Because a brand takes years to build and takes seconds to destroy. So sometimes we want to rush because Ken Dumbo is a big name. Some of us are not big names, and I want to be like him. So I'll put drama for me to get the attention. So mostly, people don't even know in the first place why they're going there. Social media is a very good tool, but it has been abused. We see a lot of drama for people to just get likes. It's more than likes. For me, it's your character speaks louder. So it's very, very important. Why are you going to go to social media? You need to understand your audience. Who are your audience? Who are you targeting as you go to social? It's very, very important to define what you're going to do there, what product, what of service are you going to offer there. If you want, you answer your why, it will help you.
To become easier in other terms.
Yes.
No, that's true, because nowadays we've seen a lot of cases on social media. This one suing this one because he made this statement about that. You know, there's so much going on. And I feel it was just one of those things. I mean, we can just give a little basic information or talk about. And so, Ken, what do you feel about that? Is it something?
Well, I'll agree with what she has said. You see, coming on social media, you need to understand why you're going there. I know some people that, you know, are doing big today, but they're not even on social media. They don't even know what Facebook is. They have never even posted a comment. But I think the problem that we have seen today, there's a lot of, you know, wanting to be like this person. And in the end, you do not even know what made this person do what they are doing today, but just because they've created a big name today, you want to be like them. So for me, being on social media is like, in my case as Ken Dumbo, it's not just about interacting with people, it's a business. I'm on social media for business in my case. And so the first thing that I sat down to do when I decided to create a page was to set my goal. So like creating a company, you need to have a goal, you need to have a vision. What do you want to achieve when you do this on social media? Like she said, who is your target audience? What product are you going to be selling out there for people to see? But mostly what I've seen is people do not know why they come to social media. Some just come to see what this person is saying about that other person. Others are coming on social media to insult the other person because they heard that, you know, this person said this about them. So the only way they can shout at each other is not to meet in person, because so they will just be insulting each other on social media. And it's really sad. our friends in other countries are making a lot of money. If it were in other countries, would have not been even complaining about unemployment.
True.
But today we have a lot of young people that have got very big numbers on social media, but still complain about unemployment. Why? Because they do not know the intention why they are on Facebook. They're just there to see what stories are trending, who is
True.
insulting, who's gossiping about who. So I think the first thing is know why you're coming to social media. What do you want to achieve? What is your objective? Who do you want to address? And remember that whatever you say has got a very huge impact. It may look so simple, but if you're not careful, it may land you somewhere you have never wished to be.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part.
You may never see it coming. And I was reading the story the other day. I saw Mwizukanji, one of the people that have very huge influence on social media, grabbed a 50 pin from someone. Why? Because they insulted her or said stuff about her. Yesterday there was a story about, unfortunately, Chela Tukuta, who is also today in prison. Why? Because he insulted somebody. So it's all those small things. And I tell you the truth, if people really took these things seriously, would have a lot of young people in prison today.
True.
Yeah.
True. I would just go back from the remark you made to say a lot of young people actually do have a huge following, but what are they doing that you're following? Just to see who is doing what, who is insulting. And that's the unfortunate part, because, like you've said, in other countries, people are making the most out of these numbers they have. You know, they've got a business running on, online, and it's actually doing well for them because they've got an income at the end of the month. So these are little things which most people are not aware of, and they're supposed to be educated on, so they can actually use this platform as a good source of income for them. And it's a shame. I mean, we've seen a lot of cases, especially in Zambia, and this month, a lot of them.
And I think maybe that's why we need to also invest in research, because most of us have access to internet, but we do not use it for the right reasons. I mean, if you wanted to know how you can use Facebook, for example, to make money, you can simply go on YouTube and just search, how do I make money using Facebook? You'll find a tutorial there of, somebody who is going to tell you what you can do with the likes. I'll give you an example. I had a page recently. I just sold a page for 3,000. It's not a lot of money, but I'll tell you that the page only had 10,000 followers, and I sold it for 3,000 kwacha. That's a business that somebody can actually get into. Just create pages, bring them up, make sure that they have a huge following, and start approaching these companies. You know what? I have this page. There is nothing bad about this page. All you need to do is just change the name to your business, and you make money off that. But unfortunately, people don't see all those things. All they want is just who is talking about who is insulting who, and it's really sad.
It's really sad.
True. And honestly, I should give you credit because I've never thought of it like that.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
It's the second page I'm selling so far.
I think you're doing fine.
Like 3,000
Oh, yeah. I could have sold it for more, but then the person I sold it to is somebody that I've been working with. Unfortunately, they had their page hacked. So creating another one was so I was just like, okay, you know what, we have this relationship already, you can get it for this much. But if I wanted, I could have sold it for 10,000. Means one kwacha for one like.
It's very affordable.
That is so true.
And also, just to add on what he has said, because if you look at this dispensation, it's not just about your white collar job. It's about your inherent gifts. That's why we've seen people are big with makeup. They can earn a living, baking, photographers. Those days we'd call them cameramen, and you'd look down on them. So if you can just look inside, because I believe God has given each and every one of us a talent. So there's an inherent gift inside of you. So you can go use the internet to say, how can I use my skills to marry with my career and all that. And today we even have a course on the ICCP, which talks about your inherent gifts, which you use your skills to marry with your career, and there are a lot of tutorials on how you can go about how to use that. With this COVID, there are a lot of courses, free courses online. I love to do courses. I always tell myself every day I'll do one, and these have helped me to sharpen my skills. So I'm not complaining about Boma should do something. I can do something. It's charity begins at home. So for me, we blame society that raised us up to say, okay, one needs to have a certain job as a lawyer for them to be respected. But I know people who have quit banking, and because she's good with makeup, she makes a living. My sister did law. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. She quit. She does what she loves. Because, again, the market becomes saturated, and you complain about you've got a good profession, but what you earn is nothing. But there's something inside you that you can use to create other streams of income, and not just complain about the government. So we should use problems as raw materials for creativity and innovation.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but I liked one point you brought out to say, you can have a good brand, a good professional, but you still have something which you feel can actually work better for you, And we've got people whereby, they've got all these big names, but they're not really making as much as they would if they were to go for what is hidden inside them, which is talent. So also, I will go back with the word of Ken to say you can actually be a brand regardless, be on social media or off social media. I love the discussion. It's getting heated on. So for now, we go on a short break. We'll see you on the flip side.
Shania Paul, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us today, it's really heated. There's so much I'm learning out here. Please don't forget to share it. Invite your friends to come watch. There's so much that they're going to learn today. I personally have learned so much, and we're not even halfway there.
Yeah.
So our topic today is personal branding. Others will call it self-branding, which is the same thing. And before we went on our break, we're talking about our inherent gifts and how problems should actually motivate us to use our gifts to bring solutions and make our lives better. There's so much out there. There's so many opportunities. Like Ken Dumbo said, social media is a good tool. We can make money from there. I know I can make a 3-pin if I
Just by setting a page.
We're buying people to follow a page, and I can sell it.
Coming up.
So right here, I mean, there's so much that is being shared, things that you wouldn't get for free out there. People charge just to know about personal branding. So right now we're going to get into how to use your inherent gifts, the gifts that you have to make money, on how to develop them. So I'm going to start from you. From your own experience, what gifts have you used to just make a living, and how did you develop them?
Well, I've used a number of my gifts to become what I've become today. And one of them is my ability to speak publicly, which is public speaking. And my skills, obviously. Everything falls under public speaking because that's what I do for a living. I'll give you a very simple example. Growing up, I always wanted to be a journalist. Okay, I was just passionate about it. So whilst I was in church, you know, I would be given opportunities to preach in church. So I started preaching in church to large crowds at only the age of 11. And so when I was growing up, my parents would be like, "Iwenda ku pastor, ukasita school." And you know, not that I doubted myself. I knew I would become one because I had already shown people what I was capable of doing. I was only a boy in Kafue, but because of my ability to preach in church, I traveled a number of districts and towns in Lusaka and outside Lusaka to go and preach. I hosted crusades. Not that I'm still a very godly child. But you see,
That's great.
my passion was media. My passion was journalism. So after I completed, my parents were like, "You're going to study journalism, to study theology." I was like, "No, I want to study, journalism." And they thought I was joking. To cut the long story short, I enrolled at Evelyn Horn College in 2014, 2016. I was done. 2017, I graduated. But trying to get a job was very hard for me. As much as I know I was very talented at public speaking, I was very talented at the job itself, journalism, because whilst at school, I was a radio DJ, I was a newscaster, I was a news editor, and I would present different shows on TV. I did a number of shows with different radio stations, but I could not still find a job that would give me the money that I wanted. Then I realized that I have this gift that I can use to make money, but how do I make money? I only needed one opportunity to show people what I was able to do, and this is something that people didn't know, and now at least it is in public domain. I knew I would handle events, but I never had an opportunity where I could show people that I can host this function, I can host a wedding, and I can make the event memorable, and life will go on like that. Until one opportunity came through, and guess what I did? I just got a phone. I gave it to somebody. I told them, "You know what? As I'm doing whatever I'm doing now, I want you to capture whatever I'll be doing."
Wow.
When they captured, at the end of that wedding, I was very young. I was only, I think I'd just completed college, and now I was trying to look for a job, and there was nothing. So after I posted that, when I was at that function, I didn't even have a business card. And so after the event, people were like, "We've loved how you've organized this event. We've loved how you've directed it. Please give us your business card." He said, "No, business card. Never directors, never managers,
Right.
So now I didn't want to oneke and I don't have a business. I was just like, you know what? The time I was coming here, I was rushing, so I forgot my wallet, and that's where my business cards are. But I also didn't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I knew from the way people were asking about my business card, I was like, so I need to have a business card, but I didn't want to show them that in Iribe. And what I did, I just said, "You know what, people? If you've loved what you've seen," unfortunately I've forgotten my business card, but you can get my number on my Facebook page, or I read out the number. And I'll tell you that the following week after that event, I had a function. The week after that, I traveled to Mumbwa for another function.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
Wow.
Why?
Wow.
It all started from what I knew I was passionate about and I was talented in. And I ended up using social media with a video that somebody captured. And today, I have an award as Best Director of Programs for Weddings in Zambia.
Wow.
So, thank you so much. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know what? We are all blessed differently. You may be passionate about something, but it may not give you the results that you really want if you were to work under someone. And that is the case with me. If I had worked for someone, maybe I would have not achieved what I have achieved today. Not that I've achieved so much, but I was just joking with somebody that, success comes in different levels. Nikaenda kwatu when naenda hapa, so kwani nabadwira, I'm very successful. Nikafika kuja watu watanotota ndine hero. Why not that I'm content with what I've achieved, but I'm not just where I was some 2 or 3 years ago. So to the young people out there, you also need to discover what God has blessed you with. It may be dancing. There are a lot of people today that are talented in dancing, but are not earning money for it. But guess what? There are artists that would love dancers for their music videos. There are functions that the government organizes where they would love traditional dancers to go and dance. There are events that we go to, weddings, for example. The bride and the groom would not want to start, the panic of dancing and stuff. They'll just say, we just want maybe 3 or 4 people to come and dance and entertain the people. All that is an initiative that you can use if you know you're talented at it. There are people that sing, there are people that are talented at soccer. All those are gifts that God has given us. Not that tomorrow we start complaining to anyone that they have not given us a job, but that tomorrow you use that same talent that God has given you to earn a living. You never know, through that talent that God has given you, or through that talent that you were born with, you may be the only person in your family to take your family out of poverty.
That is
True.
so true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I would say everyone has got a story to tell, and we continuously tell this story every day by the way we live the way we live our lives and the way we present ourselves to the world. So then how he tells his story through comedy, it's something that's in the inside of him. It comes naturally. He doesn't need to crank about it. So he's mastered that, and it's bringing something on the table than him being found in some negative kind of behaviors that will end him in a prison. He's a young person. So as young people, let's not just rush to do to drink alcohol. There's so much. For me, in Africa, we've got a lot of problems. When we step outside, you see problems. Like I said, problems are raw materials for innovation and creativity. What solution can you bring as a young person? These days, people, because like earlier on she talked about, these days people appreciate quality. We've seen how the baking industry has evolved in Zambia, and if people pay for a cake as much as 1,500, as long as it's perfectly done. We've seen people nowadays, everyone wants to go for a photo shoot. So there's a solution that you can go there as a photographer. But what would distinguish you from any other photographer? You need to be consistent. You need to know yourself. Define who you are first. Understand who you are. Then that way, make sure you're communicating the right thing to your audience. Are they understanding you the way you are? Because how you understand, how you see your brand is very, very important. It's very, very important how also others will view you. So you need to be very cautious of how you present yourself. You can have the skill and the talent. We all go back to the social media. It has worked for me, believe you me. It helped me grow my business, my fashion business. I use social media for the right tools. I only go there. I'm not good. I don't like doing lives, but I know what I'm good at. I'm good with sales. I'm good with marketing. Not that I even did marketing. It comes naturally. I'm good at listening. So I went and did a skill in counseling. We live in a space, in a world where people are faced with so many challenges. In this COVID, when people are looking at it at negative, I'm now saying, okay, I counsel people at a fee. I'm using my skill away from my profession. So you see, there's a lot. Just check within you, each and every one of us. Others is good with braiding hair. We've seen people how they've built big salons, others even the spas and all that. So you can't complain and blame the government. Just check. If you don't know, just go back to God, show me what my talent is. And don't let God take away that talent that we've read in the Bible. So we all have something to offer. Yes.
And just to add my own take on that, I feel at this particular point in time, living in a place like this now, where COVID has literally shifted the attention and the workspace of everybody, this is actually the right time to look at the inner talents we have, try and build them, because most people are just focused on, white collar jobs, but they're forgetting to say we're all created in a different way. We're given a special, unique talent which we can use, especially now, because people out there still making money, in as much as the world has shut down. Things have stopped moving, there isn't much activity out there, people are still surviving. And how are they surviving? Most of them have discovered to say, I can actually do this regardless, the world is no longer working, the economy is not performing to according to how I would want it to perform. I can actually do this, and it will help me sustain earn an income. So I feel this is the right time actually to look into ourselves and find things which we can use to make a living, make sure we sustain ourselves as we wait for the world to actually open up and work for us. So before we actually jump into, a break, that reminds me, we can't run away from social media because it's something we are directly connected to in one way or the other. And I feel, looking back, especially in 2015, we had a lot of young people on social media who came up with videos
Yes.
you know, conflicts, you know, trying to get back to this person, you know, put through a message. And a lot of them, unfortunately, are no longer as active as they were in 2015. So in my head, I'm like, you know, does that mean, you know, just because you've got a following, people know you, you know, it can, to a certain extent, relate to success? Or maybe it's not always when you have a name, you know, you can actually be termed as someone who's successful. Because if you, prove me wrong, but early 2015, we had a lot of young people, made a lot of noise. Look at now, you know, we only have a few people on social media. We can say the strongest have survived, you know, who are actually, who have kept on making noise, creating videos and all that. But what do you think, does success, you know, mean, you know, you have a good brand, or maybe does a self-brand mean actually that you have become successful?
So we all define success in different ways. So you can have the largest following, but you're not successful. It all goes back to the networks I'm talking about. A lot of people, they just want for the show off that I've got a following. Are the people following you the right people from you? Because people who follow we are influenced, whether you like it or not, direct or indirectly. Are they of good quality? What value are they adding? I always ask, if you're going to be in my circle, what value are you adding? If you go to your phone, check everyone. If people are not adding value spiritually, career-wise, business-wise, I think it's time to let go. Because we've got this tendency of dragging certain association just because someone was a childhood friend. I'm not saying hate them. The world has evolved. The things that they thought 5 years ago is not where they are. They've grown. They've changed, even you. So if you really don't understand, the Bible talks about times and season and knowing what to do. Yeah, in this season of the COVID, you want to behave like in the time of the analog. We're in the digital space. So how can you use the digital space for the positivity? Believe you me, we don't even know when this corona will end. The waves keep on increasing. And like you are saying, the world has closed. I don't believe in that statement. Digital things are happening.
Yes.
In the digital space, things are really, really happening. People have gone. Ask yourself, when Mark Zuckerberg, they're busy working, they're busy upgrading things. Ask yourself, that's a young person. If you're struggling, it's better to say, how are the others doing it? How are they succeeding in this space when things are hard and all that? You talked about the young people. So you see what makes people even is when you really just don't define your brand, or you don't understand who you are in the first place and what you stand for. Believe you me, when the winter season comes in, you'll be shaken and you'll crumble. And so understanding your why. Why is your why of going to social media? What service are you going to do there? Are you just going to be on social media just because everyone is on Instagram? It took me years to be on Instagram because I just don't move by the wind. I needed to know why I needed to be on Instagram. Not just because, I'm not saying it's bad. Don't move by the wind. Understand why you're going to do something, whether you're going to be on social, on Instagram, on Facebook, and all that. A lot of people have been hurt there. Other people have made money on on these social medias, and others have been destroyed. Why? There's an abuse. If you don't understand the thing, you're going to abuse it. So it's very, very important. And for those young people that have fallen, it's not too late. They can go back to the drawing board. They can reach out to the Dumbos. They can reach out to me to see how we can help them. We don't give up on them. They can still rise up.
Thank you. That's an excellent answer. I must give it to you. Dumbo, how do you feel?
Well, I'll agree with what she has said. You see, like we said in the beginning, a lot of people do not understand why they come to social media. And to be honest, having a huge following doesn't mean you're very successful. Yeah. Like I said, most people will follow you because of what you give out there. There are people that love gossip. So the moment they see you alive and you're talking about Dumbo, they'll be like, let's hear what's happening here. That's the only thing. But Mulomo, that's the only thing that they are there for. So they will follow you. They will follow you not because you have something to offer, but because they just love the fact that you're talking about somebody. Maybe they also hate that person. So for them, when you're talking about him, they'll be like, yeah, I'm Chitabu. But at the end of the day, what have you benefited as an individual?
True.
How what success has that brought to you? And for other fellows that came up with so many videos, and now it's going down. Not that it's happening, things are not just happening. You need to differentiate yourself from what everybody's doing. You don't need to be like Ken Dumbo. Yes, create your videos, but create your own content. Let people know you for you. I think what has killed a lot of vloggers on Facebook is because they try to be like a person who is already there. They want to be like Ken Dumbo, for example. They want to be like Bwananjombe, or they want to be like Quantum. No, those people have already created their brand. No matter how much you try, you will not beat them at their game. Probably they understand their game very well. They understand their content. They are consistent and everything. So some people will just do one video and it is everywhere. They're like, na blow. But 2, 3, 4 days later, they have no content to give the people. So you need to understand, what content do I give people? For me, I've given an example of myself, because the first time I started creating videos, my intention was to give people my journalistic skills. I knew I never had an opportunity to be on TV. Of course, I had opportunities, but beyond opportunities, I needed money. It was not making sense for me to be on TV and then tomorrow. Yeah, so I was like, let me I would rather create my own TV and go broke. It's okay, because people just see me on Facebook. If they meet me in person and ask me for a 50 kwacha, I'll tell them, I just do this thing on Facebook. I do not get money. But if they see me on TV and tomorrow I tell them I do not have money, they'll be like, but TV. You get my point? So because I was so passionate about journalism, I said, okay, since I can't find a job, let me just use social media. And for me, the objective has been to entertain, educate, and inform. And that's what I have been given. Today, I'll make you laugh. Tomorrow, I'll inform you about what is happening. The other day, I'll educate you about something that you probably don't know. And for me, Ken Dumbo may look like it's a comedy page. For me, it's a TV station. And those are the goals that I have set. So I will not run out of content. If now natika joke lero kanipita, I'll talk about politics. People still talk and life goes on.
I like the fact that you mentioned to say, in fact, that's a misconception which most people have. Just because they see you on social media, they see you on TV, they expect a certain standard or a certain personality when they actually meet you in person. So this is to some extent actually one of the biggest
and it is
reasons.
very important. It is very important. That's how you've branded yourself. So even for me, I'll tell you that when people meet me at functions or they see pictures of me on Facebook, they're like, I'm like, you know what? This is what I have built.
Yes, it's part of branding.
It's part of branding. I'll go to an event. If you're hiring me as a groom, you want me to be your MC, you just need to up your game, because they'll think I'm the groom. Not that, there are people that are just so strict. I'll tell you, just in brief, I'll tell you what made me start even wearing how I dress when I go for functions. I met one client who was like, if you're coming in casual at my wedding as an MC, you're not hosting my event. I want you to dress smart. And I was like, oh, okay. Smart. And nafika check kuja tuma photos to attend, and everybody, wachoka. I was like, okay, this is the way to go. Yeah, this is the way to go. And today we are wearing suits. Yeah,
and actually come out very well. I love it. I love the well dressed man. It's just one of those things.
You have to brand yourself well.
That's part of branding.
He's coming for an interview.
Yeah, so
to brand himself.
You really need to know yourself, know why you are doing. Don't just do it because everybody is doing it. If social media is not for you, don't force it. Because today people are going to be talking about you. Tomorrow they'll be like, banasira, banasira. Not because unasira, but because it is not just your thing.
Exactly.
You can still find out. I'll tell you that there are people today that do not know anything about Facebook, but they make so much noise on Facebook because they have somebody who is doing the job for them. So if you are not so good at Facebook, find someone who is going to manage you. They're going to give you what you should talk about, how you should dress and everything. If you have nothing to do, you are home or you are kufam doing your own things. When there is need for you to come on social media, come and do exactly what you're supposed to do. Because if you just go on social media because you want people to see that, oh, Ken Dumbo is live today, tomorrow you're going to insult someone and they'll take you to prison.
Yeah.
I like the part that he says if you're not good at social media, it all goes back to networking, which is one of the 3 bodies of the brand. So he says, I'm not good. So it's good to identify what you're not good. So he says, okay, that one. So are you having the right networks within your circles who can do the job for you? But you still appear as you. That someone is doing it. So it's very, very important. who is, I always say you need to have everyone in the industry, police officer, a
Yes,
banker.
too
In
much.
case of anything, yes.
No, that's true.
For me, I do not struggle. If I need anything, yes.
somebody.
Talk of networking. Yesterday, one of my customers, that's why it's very, very important to be good to the customers, reaches out to say, do you know any unemployed nurses? I was like, yes, my niece. So, we're looking, I won't say the organization. They're looking for, and this is a very good organization like you guys. It's a client. I think so it's very, very important how also you treat your clients. You don't look down, whether they're buying one item, whether they'll pay you millions. A client is a client that contributing to your brand growing. And also, so you see where I was talking about networking. If I need anything, I know where to go. I know when I go to my phone, I say if I need this, I have that name in mind. And these are trusted brands. I don't want to associate myself with drama. You will never find me. Because that also just communicates a different thing about my brand. So it's very, very important. Your network. So we all need to revisit who is in your circles. Don't just keep numbers for the sake of, are they adding value? Or you just want to be seen, like he was talking about likes. Because sometimes we want to be seen like we are famous because of the number of people who follow us.
No, that's true. I feel she's literally just exhausted everything, you know? Everything has been dealt with in just one, conversation. Tisa, what do you feel?
I'm having so much fun. I think we should even have a part 2 of this. Yeah, we should have a part 2.
I feel
Definitely.
there's so much we can still talk about. From a personal brand, we can now talk about companies, for instance, product and services. So all those things can just, fall in nicely after you've built a personal brand. How can you sell now your service? How can you be of service to your community out there or your company? So actually,
Yeah, and if you have any questions that you'd want to ask the two that are here, baby say they are willing to attend to you after this.
At a fee.
So we have a message there which says, "Hi, this show is nice for me from Petronella, aka Rana Esther. Thank you very much, Rana Esther. And if you want to reach out to these, if you have any questions, comment. We'll still forward the questions to them. And there's another question which says, you say that we are our personal branding, but people can't see us. Okay.
That's an interesting one.
People can't see us.
I love you.
I love you too.
People can't see us. What do they mean?
What do they mean?
Who do they live with? Aren't they people? So that's really, really an interesting question for us. When they say people don't see, who are the people they're talking about?
I think, I don't know what she meant, but in my own take, I think she meant things like, we always go back to social media at some point. In fact, we always have to go back to social media. I think maybe she meant to say, I am trying for people to know me. Maybe she's on social media, but still she can't get that audience she wants. But she keeps on trying and trying and trying. This is just my take. Maybe it's what she meant.
I think it's in those lines, because I've received a number of people who are going to say, Ken, I'm also talented in comedy, but people don't like my page, or they don't follow what I do. So what we need to understand also is the fact that these things, it's like growing up. You won't just start doing something today and then right there and then you want people to follow you or like you. I created my page, for example, in 2016. At that point, the only like I had was mine. I would post videos. The only comment that was there, that kind of thing where you've posted a video, a comment, and you are the first person to like and also comment again. Then you also reply. You're encouraging yourself. And for people to comment, you have to mention. In certain charge, you have to cheated tagged you with 19 others. I was in part of that. But with time, when people see consistency in what you're doing, you don't just do it today and then you're quiet the whole week and then you want people to say, okay, there's S-nut this side. Continue doing. Of course, at first people will be like, what's this? They'll pass it. What's this? They'll pass it. But after 3-4 days, they keep coming across your video. Be like, consistency is there. What is this? Let's see, follow and find out what this person does. Then your brand grows like that. But otherwise, if you're not consistent, people will not follow you.
There's another question.
She's just prompted something to say, one of the common things that I know of successful brands is consistency.
Mhm.
So when you're consistent with your personal brand, that's who's going to build a name recognition with your followers, and to avoid confusion, you don't give up. I remember when I created my business page, like he said, had one like, I post nice things, like I'm like, is anything wrong with me? Why is it that others? So I had to sit down to ask why. Okay, so I said, okay, I'm going to change the strategy. So like, okay, who's in my circles? I said, okay, Mary Mwixa, she was my cosmet journalism, so she's got influence. Who this? I used my circles, very good people. They were willing to help me, not only just making likes, they were supportive, and they would write reviews that helped me. So it all goes back to your network. Who are you going to reach out to? Yes.
Okay. Ooh, see why we need a part 2. We're running out of time.
We really do.
So if you have any more questions, please feel free to get in touch. And I think we need to do this topic again, because we have a question saying, how can I be a brand? Hey, we hold our future because of you. I love you. God bless you, Astrida. Thank you.
Thank you, Astrida.
Thank you. So any last words that you'd want just to encourage the viewers out there?
Dumbo, we love. We love. Like the program.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. So we're winding up now, and just want to hear from you. Any last words of encouragement for the viewers out there?
Well, I always say these words every time I'm attending an interview, and I tell people, you know what, it is only you who knows who you are. It is only you who knows what you can do. Sometimes waiting on people to help you become what you've always dreamt of may never come to pass.
True.
So always do what you can with what you have. Do the best that you can, and let God do the rest.
Amen. It deserves a bigger amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Madam.
Yes.
Only you can tell your story, the better version, and not others. So invest in your personal branding. So reach out to us, we can help you.
La cocha.
La coach.
We give it to her. I personally will start. I'll start
We're
investing in
starting up.
myself. I want to brand a good brand.
Yes.
Something which should be of service to myself,
Yeah.
my family second, and thirdly, the community out there. Because it starts with me, my house where I come from, then I can be of service to the community. So
Exactly.
I'll start.
We-
I'm leading.
Yes. So
I'm leading.
thank you very, very much for being with us.
Thank you so
We should
much.
do this again next week,
Thank
same time.
Thank you for
Same
inviting
place.
us.
It's such an honor. It's such an honor. I've learned so much. I don't know about you out there. If you're only joining us now, or you joined us towards the end, you can always catch up on our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook. And please feel free to share. You never know who it might help out there. This could be a word of encouragement for someone who's doubting themselves, someone who's starting out their brand and just trying to juggle through life. So please share this. Share the link on your WhatsApp, share it everywhere, and you might just help someone out there. So from us, it's
At Shana
Oh,
Bo.
Shana Bo. From us, it's at
Shana
Shana Bo.
Ilagumupa ilajila andile shagunyona jilandita guya gwagwegulo mbankweni yandisha muzindi jagupe ngesha ganjinda janagu unwa ndazwa musunkolya mubi muji ndijagupaila jindi jagumupa ila baba baalanditola guli oyo usho mega gulelega moyo wangu ulanditagumu yanda kugonda agwe ndilagu yaguli nguwe muji ndi mama ne eraye mama we eraye mama ne onani mama ne you can't tell who we are appreciating today out. You better start calling me Uncle Dumbo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of Appreciation Friday, where we appreciate our local musicians for the good songs that they do for us, for the good messages that they spread through music. My name is Ken Dumbo, and this is Appreciation Friday. In today's edition of Appreciation Friday, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to take time to appreciate one of Zambia's legendary musicians in the name of James Chamanyazi. James Chamanyazi is one of the oldest musicians alive today. He's a multi-award winner with a number of great songs. In case you do not know who we are talking about, this is a man who did this song. Mandela